Been a lot of commenters mentioned recently that they missed the old TTWT when we used the 1025R for all of our projects, and that was the only machine we had. Well, today we're going to use just the 1025R for a pretty significant project. We're going to replace my friend Gary's frozen water hydrant. Let's get started. Tie it as tight as you can. So what we typically do to pull stuff is wrap it around several times, then we'll try to pull it up. We'll try to hook it real close to the ground. I have more lifting force real close to the ground. Okay, the water line's coming in just like this. How long ago did you say it's been put in? 20 years?
Probably.
And it's not uncommon for outdoor hydrants to rust out right down there at the bottom where they've been in the dirt like that for that long. So I think, we know it'll be several feet deep. And I believe we're going to try to put this end in a little bit deeper. I'll show you why in a minute. So I think I'm just going to dig right on top of where we expect the line is for a while. We get down about 16 inches or so, then we'll start getting nervous. And
okay.
Does that sound okay?
Well, it should be 3 feet deep, but we'll find out.
This is the 16-inch bucket. One of the three options for the 260, 270 backhoes. Probably the 370 too. They have an 8 and a 12 and a 16 option. If you want other sizes, like a bigger one, for instance, we've got a 24-inch bucket. You can get that at mudscustoms.com. Of course, if you use code TTWT, you get 5% discount. We would have used our smooth edge 24-inch bucket today, actually. I didn't really need that much width, but I would have liked the smooth edge. I'm kind of less likely to hit this pipe with a smooth edge, but that smooth edge bucket is on my 270 backhoe, and I would have had to hook the backhoe up to get it off, and I just didn't want to take the time. So another aspect I'd like to mention that I don't often mention, well, maybe not often enough anyway, is I'm not on my own property. Digging more than 4 or 6 inches below the surface, you got to have insurance for this. I mean, there's just too much risk, and you just don't want to get into the liability. People often talk about insurance as being for the tractor itself. With a little 1025R with backhoe and everything, what are we talking, $20 to $22, $25,000? Yeah, that would really hurt. But to me, that's a minor concern compared to any liability issue. Your entire retirement could be wiped out with just one error, and nobody would want that. So I'm not trying to get you to be scared of causing the errors, because we can't help that. We're going to make mistakes, but that's what insurance is for. So not a sponsored video at all, but if you do have insurance questions, if you'll go to tractortimewithttim.com/insurance, you have to type that URL in. But if you go to that URL, tractortimewithttim.com/insurance, you can fill out a questionnaire there, and my insurance agent will get back to you and answer your specific insurance question. He can write policies, I think, in 28 states. And you've seen him on this channel. His name's Steve Thompson, and he's been in several videos. He knows what he's doing. I can see it.
Yeah, it looks like it's been bent with the bucket. I don't know if it's got a hole in it or not. Looks like it does.
Looks like it does.
I think so. I can turn the water on, we'll find out.
Yeah, it's not good. Okay. I figured our pipe would be too short anyway.
Is there a way I can splice it?
Oh yeah. I have to dig this back a little further now because I broke the hose, and we'll have to put a splice in back here, so I might as well just dig it out on top here and give us some more space to work. And hopefully I don't hit it again back here. You know, I'm sure you guys that are all professionals don't hit the water lines or don't hit the lines that you're trying to avoid, but it seems like I almost always hit them. I can't help it. Well, the reason I can't help it probably is because I'm usually working with guys, myself included, probably not quite proactive enough at searching for the line with the shovel. And in this case, we really thought the line was a little bit further toward your camera there, a little bit further toward the fence and away from the barn here than what it turned out to be. I'll try to hold my bucket flat here and get what I can above it. I had someone ask me about the differences between the 260 and the 260B backhoe. Well, I can tell you that I'm kind of showing you the difference right now, and you probably don't, you know, obviously you wouldn't recognize it if you haven't used either one, but the 260B is much easier to work with. It just gives you much more control. It moves more gracefully, it doesn't jerk as bad. None of these little backhoes are going to be as smooth perhaps as the professional rigs, but the 260B is a great improvement over the 260. And some of my experience with other brands, now with the 260B, it's as good as, or maybe even a little bit smoother than the other brands I've tried. So, you know, as far as little subcompact backhoes goes, this is a good one. See, I get in there and I don't have any strength to pull it up because it's fully extended and down in there at a really awkward angle. Now we can put our joint right there about where your mid shovel is, right in there somewhere.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, or even a little, yeah, that'll be fine, right?
There's water around the pipe. Obviously it's leaked.
Interesting. I'm surprised to see water that far. Well, I don't know. We may be in the water table too.
We have a high water table here, but I don't think we hit it yet. Now, what do we expect to see down here? Something that could have been
repaired in 5 minutes.
See, here's his slit. Man, look, goes from one hand to the other. Wow. Where it was frozen and busted.
I watched a YouTube video, I don't know, a little while ago, probably several weeks ago, where one of my peers was talking about just how easy it would be to get a free tractor. And he was mentioning how you could do all these projects and make all this money with your tractor. And you know, there is an opportunity to make some money with your tractor, but I feel like sometimes that's maybe overselling it a little bit. One of the examples that he gave was, he says, oh, one of the best things is digging trenches. Right? You can go in and dig and you can charge, I don't remember what he said, something, I think it was $150 an hour. I'm not sure exactly what he said. But yeah, you can go in and dig for $150 an hour, and that's one of the most fun things you can do. And if you just do that so many hours, you'll make your tractor payment. And I get it. I get the point. But what I don't think is mentioned is that, you know, I've been doing this kind of work and working with people that do this kind of work for many years now, and I don't believe I've ever had a customer that says, I need a trench. No, the customer's always saying something different, like my friend and neighbor Gary here. He says, my water hydrant's busted. I need a new water hydrant. Well, that's not the same project as digging a trench, right? Yeah, digging a trench is a part of it, but it's just not nearly the same project. So if you want to do this type of work, you've got to be competent as a plumber. You've got to be able to get to the root of the problem and be able to fix the problem, or your customer's not going to be satisfied. Now, there's some level of skill and knowledge required to be able to do this. I'm not saying it's rocket science. I'm sure some of you plumbers would say I'm worthless at it, and well, I don't claim to be that great. But even if you know exactly what you're doing, unless you keep a whole truck full of parts and have everything on hand, it's going to require probably 2 trips to the hardware store, and it's going to require some work that you're just, maybe not used to doing on an everyday basis. So I think we have to be careful in trying to oversell this concept that you just get a free tractor. All you have to do is go out and dig, and everything will be wonderful.
Are you trying to hint that you need to be more selective who your friends are?
Yeah. But actually, you're joking about one thing, but this is one of the things we talk about in Tractors for Business all the time, is that I would highly recommend that people work for their friends, where they don't charge and where they get some experience, right? Working on a project like this, we learn how to do these types of projects. If everything doesn't go perfect, well, at least you don't have to pay for it, right?
Yeah.
So that's one of the big recommendations that I have, is do your work for your friends. Do it for nothing until you're good at it.
Yeah.
One thing I've done here is to try to bring some dry dirt back in so that I don't have to stand in a mud pit. And the trick to be able to do that is to dig your hole too deep. So we scooped a lot of dirt out, and then the water came back in here while we were on our trip for parts. Okay, that's about close to 54 inches deep at its deepest. 48's about right there. I had a guy call me from near my hometown in southern Illinois, and he told me about a business that has actually been going for 11 years, but I had never heard of it, and I grew up 60 miles from where they are, so I'm telling you, there's not a lot of business in that part of southern and southeastern Illinois. So he talked to me about a new product. Gary, how about you bring that thing over here? This product is called the Yard Hydrant Made Easy. And I thought, well, what does that mean? I don't really have any idea what's going on here. Now, I was interested in talking with this guy simply because of where he was located, but in a sense, I wasn't sure this project fit our channel. We don't do a lot of plumbing work on our channel, right? Usually it's just other types of work. But this product is called the Yard Hydrant Made Easy. And fundamentally what it is you have to dig up, if you have a broken hydrant, frozen hydrant like we had here, you've got to dig it up. But once we put this in, you won't have to dig this hydrant up again. If it ever wears out, the weep hole plugs up or whatever, doesn't work on it anymore, it freezes up, it rusts out, whatever happens to it, you can simply pull the hydrant right out of the top of it and replace the hydrant without ever redigging this hole. So it adds cost up front, but given that every hydrant's going to fail at some point, right? This one lasted about, what, 20 years, you thought?
I'm guessing 20 years.
But this will allow you to replace it. Now, how does it work? It's got one of these pitless adapters inside here. So the hydrant has a pitless adapter connection on the bottom of that. We'll show you in a little while. And it just slides right down in here. So what we have to do for now, we have a 1-inch female pipe threads here. And we will just put this thing down in the hole. And we'll run our pipe to it. And then we'll put the rest of it together. So it's no more difficult to put in than a regular hydrant, and then all this digging is over. I'm out of business next time. Next time you need this, I'm out of business. You can do it without me, Gary.
Well, that's okay, but hopefully I'm so darn old I don't need it anyway.
You think that's good enough, huh? Okay, let's get some of that rock. We need to put some rock in here. Now this is 3/4 inch crushed stone with no dust. At least that's what it's supposed to be.
You know you're going to be a hero when this is done.
Oh, I'm already a hero, Gary. So what we have here on the brass part is a backflow preventer. Okay, so there's no way that there can be any backflow go into the house water system, right? And they said that's pretty important. I mean, apparently some places have like water code or plumbing code that force these, but they also said it was pretty important anywhere you have livestock.
Oh, well,
okay, so you don't want that. Now, but that costs us an extra several inches. If we didn't have the backflow preventer, we'd have 6 inches less here. Now, the hydrant itself will attach up here, and then the weep hole will be up here. So because of that, we've had to dig our hole an extra foot deeper than what you would just to put in a typical faucet. So for here, the typical burial depth is 3 foot. And so we've made this thing set 4 foot deep with some rock under it, okay? And then we'll put the faucet on this and connect our incoming line down there.
So that's a check valve.
Okay.
Yeah, okay. And they do that to prevent possible pollution or contamination.
Bad stuff getting into your house and then you drinking it.
Now, how much tape do you put on your threads? You tell me and I'll tell you what I was.
Enough. E-N-U-F.
2.5 turns, and you're going about it backwards.
I figured I was doing it backwards.
You want me to show you? Here, let me have this. You take your finger and you poke your finger in there, your middle finger, and then you take your piece, and then you take this and you wrap it around, just unroll it, roll it right on there, about 2.5 turns. And then it's always good to have it right up in there. I kind of missed my mark a little bit. There. And then you want to go like that. Here you are.
And it's in good shape then.
See?
So how much do I have to put on that, Gary? Or you lose, is your expertise only taping?
Yeah, I'm just a taper.
Oh, okay. 54 inches. These particular pipe clamps take a 5/16 socket, and that's a lot easier than a screwdriver. They said they wanted rock up to this height right here. That makes sense.
Is there enough
to me.
underneath of it?
Yeah. Well, it said a foot. There's at least 7 or 8 inches. So this is well-drained soil. It'll be wonderful. Besides, good enough for who it's for.
Well, thanks, pal.
Now, Gary's picky on his hydrants. By the way, this Yard Hydrant Made Easy does not come with the hydrant, and I think part of the reason for that is so you can choose your own. Gary wanted a Woodford hydrant. He's convinced that's the best kind. I don't know anything about hydrants, so I'm not going to argue with him. Although I might argue with him just for the fun of it. This is the part that came from Yard Hydrant Made Easy, and it is a direct connection to the bottom of this hydrant. For those of you viewers, the flat side, the pitless adapter flat side here, is on the same side as the pipe coming in. There are 3 or 4 choices for how you get your Yard Hydrant Made Easy. Interesting name, huh? What we got was the complete, the complete Yard Hydrant Made Easy with the backflow preventer or check valve. And you can get it as what they call a kit. And in that case, you don't get all the PVC pipe. I think you get some of it, but not all of it. And you can supply your own PVC pipe. It actually makes it a good bit cheaper, and I suspect that's because of shipping is a bit of a pain. They also have another one. I think this model is the 303. I think they have the 101, which doesn't have the backflow preventer. Okay, so this cap comes apart in 2 pieces just like this. And there's little holes here that help you guide it to put it in. Now on the bottom of this is a big pipe clamp. Okay, now you have to decide where you want the the cool logo?
Well, I think it ought to face the general public when they approach it from the
Okay.
house. Now, I'm not going to make you turn it again.
In my practice with this, I had the most problem getting this pitless adapter actually connected because it's way down there.
Is it connected?
Yeah, I went down in there first try.
Yeah, I heard you say that. This looks pretty good.
We're all done. Now, we'll raise this. See if we can raise this up even that far if you want.
All right, that's fine.
Yeah? And then, hopefully this is 5/16.
I kind of want that logo to show.
Okay, so turn it the right direction you want it.
Okay, it is.
Okay?
It gives me bragging rights.
That's right. You're going to be the only one of these in the neighborhood for now. But soon, other Tractor Time with Tim viewers are going to join in, and you won't be the only one in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll put that on the back side. There's a rubber, kind of a seal there. One of the questions Gary had, and it's an obvious question, so we'll just raise it here, is how is this thing going to keep from freezing? Because all of this plastic is open, and it's open all the way to the bottom. And I believe one of the answers is this, semi-airtight seal up here. And I think the other answer is that once it's 3 foot down in the soil with that brass insert and all there, I think there's going to be a lot of heat transmission from that dirt into the inner part of that container. I don't know. I'm just kind of guessing at that. So I guess to some degree we have to trust the company when they said they've never had one freeze.
That's what I'm doing.
Yep. I promise you guys will hear about it if it freezes this winter and I have to replace it again. But I really don't think it will. It makes sense to me. Yard Hydrant Made Easy. I think it's yardhydrantmadeeasy.com, or there's another shorter website, mitimfg.com. You can use coupon code TTWT and get yourself a 5% discount. I get some comments. We showed a real expensive item last week, and I get some comments at times, people saying, well, I can't afford every item you show on your channel. You know what? That's fine. We don't show this stuff because we expect everybody to buy this. We show it kind of as an educational and informational and entertainment kind of thing. And there'll be a few of you that says, you know what? I want that thing. And the rest of you will say, nah, I don't have any need for that. It's not for me. But hey, I didn't know it existed, or I didn't know how to put it in. And that's really our intent. So, it sort of hurts me to think that folks get offended when we show an expensive attachment or something that they don't think they need, because it's not our objective at all to try to assert that everybody would want every attachment, to say it's $10,000 attachment. Well, of course not. Of course not. We understand that, but Gary might. I mean, look at him, a man of means.
Yeah, I'm real classy.
Yeah.
I probably got a colloquial saying for that too. But.
One part I left out of this story on the Yard Hydrant Made Easy was that I essentially turned the company down because I just don't do this kind of work. And 2 days later, Gary called me and said, I'm calling a plumber to do my hydrant. I said, what? What do you mean calling a plumber? So I thought, well, since I've got my first hydrant call in, I don't know, a year, two, maybe it was a good time to call Yard Hydrants Made Easy.
Yep.
Yep.
Suits me.
Now, before Gary had 2 wooden posts, as you saw, 1 on each side to protect the hydrant. The guys at Yard Hydrant Made Easy said that this should serve that protection. You shouldn't really need that now.
Yeah.
And so I guess we won't put those back up. And then your gate post was right here.
Yeah.
And you're just going to hold off on that till this settles and gets...
Yeah, because the gate post, see there, the gate will have to chain up to that post, and I just got to size everything up.
Yeah, okay. So we can come back and do that another day. We'll drill a post hole for you. You longtime viewers know that's one of my favorite things to do.
Yeah.
Johnny did a great job. From the backhoe standpoint, I was really happy. I didn't need anything bigger. He did the job fine. Folks, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time on
Tractor Time with Tim. I got it that time, didn't I?
You got it that time?
I got it that time.
Now, where's the cheeseburger?
Darn, the cook went to camp.
There's always an excuse with this
Yeah.
guy. Always an excuse with this guy.
Yeah, she'll be back.
Gary, I haven't figured out your language yet.
Well, anybody south of 40 in Indiana's got his own language.
Okay. But soon, other TTW... You'd think I could say that by now.
Do you want any Jergens for your chapped hands?
No, I don't need any Jergens. I'm
Okay.
good.